Okay, so hello everyone. So in the previous video we have done this part, right? This part we saw how to print it using the function, right? So in this video I want to actually discuss some more basics, and from the next video onwards we'll do some real coding, okay? Like the real problems that we'll be facing in arrays. It's important for us to know the basics, so I'm just covering the basics now. Okay, so let's just do some more things, small things that might create trouble later. So let's not keep it so that it creates trouble, right? So let's just complete those things using namespace int main. Come here and see. I'll actually tell you something. If you want to create an array, you give a name, right? You give a bracket and you actually give some values, right? Let's say 100. Okay, you can even do that like this. If you do 5, it means you're gonna create an integer of 5. But see, afterwards we used to use a loop, right? Like we used to use this loop for taking the values. Okay, if you don't want to do that, if you want to, like, hey, I want to actually assign the values with these specific values, like something like 1 2 3 4 5, then you can do like this within the curly braces, just 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5. What happened what actually happened was I created an array of size 5, okay, and I actually initialized the values as 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, that means this is at 0 index, at 1 index, at 2 index, and so on. Okay, makes sense. If you want to even print it, let's copy this thing, how we print it. Where is it? We print it using this right here. So let's print it. Let's print out here. Okay, and then this should be size 5, right? Less than 5, because we have created till 5 only. Okay. So obviously we'll get 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, let's see. Okay, come on. Okay, makes sense. See, if you are giving this, okay, if you are like I don't want to give this size, don't give size. Okay, but how many elements you have stored inside, that tells you the size. Okay, that means right now you have stored 3 elements. That means this size automatically became to size 3. Okay, that means 0 1 2 index. Okay, makes sense. So even this will work. Okay, it will give me 1 2 and 3. Makes sense. Okay, now one more thing. In the previous video we discussed one thing, that if I don't give anything, then it will give me what do you say the garbage values, right? If I want them not to be garbage, just make it 0. Just make it 0, and let's say 5. That means you're creating an array of size 5, and you have given only one element is 0. That means all of your array will be transformed from what do you say this garbage values to zeros. Okay, everything will be printed now as 0. Okay, want to check it? See, making sense? What if I don't want to make everything 0? I want to make only, I want to make 1 4, and afterwards you can do anything you want. So I want to say that 1 4, and afterwards you can do anything. That means, see, although I have created a size of 5, right, and I have stored 1 and 4, only 2 elements, right? So what can you expect from it? What should be the remaining values? See, I have an array of size 5. Okay, this is 0 index 2 3 4, right? This is whole size is 5. I have given 1 and 4. These 3 values I haven't initialized them. What would be the values? They would be 0. Okay, as soon as you initialize it, how much values you have initialized, that becomes whatever you have given, and remaining they become 0. Make sense? So get 14000. You want to test it? Come here. 14000. Okay, making sense? One more thing. What if I just write here 1? That is again 1000. Okay, what if I want to actually initialize the whole array with 1? That means 1 1 1 1. That means you have no options. If you want to do it 1 1 1, see, if you want to do it 0, that's fine. Just write 1 0, and everything will take care of it. It means everything will be 0. But if you want to initialize everything with, let's say, with 1, okay, all the 5 elements with 1, then you cannot do it. Okay, you have to initially you have to go on each element, and you need to put the value as 1. Okay, like we used to take the input. Okay, so see here, if you write a 9, let's say 9 2 3 4, and the last value I have not defined, that means that value will become, that value will become 0. Okay, okay. So 9 2 3 4 and 0. Okay, making sense? So these are just the basics part. Okay, so see here, Right, let me just make this, let's see what we see. Let's give me one. Let me give me one. Let it be this. Okay. So now this part is fine. We have initialized an array of size 5. We have given the values. Okay. And also I am printing the values. Okay. Now come here. I'm like, okay, let's create a function. Okay, let's create a function and let's return nothing, and let's give it the size of the array, means the address of the array is passed. And let me pass one more thing. Okay, I'll create 10 and I'll pass it. Just give me a second. Let's pass like in 10 equal to, let it be 10. Okay, and I'm creating this function name is check. Okay, let's check anything. You can give anything, whatever you want. Let's rather give it increment because we want to increment some values. Increment. Okay, come here. Call this function where you're passing the value of a. You are passing the value of n. Okay, you are increasing the value of n plus plus, and also you're coming and increasing the value of e of 0 plus plus. And after printing all the values, you are like, okay, I'll print the values again. Okay, control C. After calling the function, you are printing it. Let's see what will happen. Okay, let's see what will happen. See, I'm saying again, you have an n, you have created an n. Okay, and you have created an array. Okay, you are first checking what is the value inside the array. Clear? Later you are calling the increment function, which is incrementing the value of e of 0, also your n by 1. So we want to check, does this reflect the changes? That means I want to even print, I want to even check this, see out the value of n. Okay, and if you want to know it's n, just say it's n, right? How will you say this? Like this. Okay, making sense? So here, this will print before calling function. Okay, I'll write here before calling function. Okay, and copy this, control C, after calling function. Okay, what do you expect? Should we get the value of n is 10 like we had, and also the value of a of 0? That means because we're changing a of 0, right? It was 9 initially, it's 9, right? Or rather, let's just actually change only a of 9, or it's fine, just keep this, it's fine. So what do you expect? Wait, would be there any changes? Let's see. It should be, what is it, invalid conversion from int to end. Just a second. Word increment, sorry, first of all there is a short here, the line number is not actually closed. Okay, no. And what is the error? Invalid conversion from int to int. Okay, let's become it plus plus, let's name it then, let's maybe change to it a of 0. a of 0 should work. Yeah, invalid conversion from int to int. Okay, sorry, actually this is an array, right? Sorry, that's my mistake. Actually this is an array, right? Okay, so this is an array, right? I'm extremely sorry for it. So obviously it can change. Okay, that means I'm changing the value of a of 0. Okay, let's see, what will happen. See, before calling, the value of my my array is this. Okay, and after calling my function, n is 10. Okay, n is 10 only. At line number 8 also n is 10, and I have incremented the value of n at line number 4 by 1, but still it is same. But if you see properly, this n is actually changed to n, a of 0 is changed to 10. It was in the beginning 9. I have plussed it in my this increment function by plus plus, right? Even if I change it, let's say if I change it to 100, that value will be reflected, that this change will get reflected. Okay, let's see why. We understand why now. See, it was 9 but now it became 100. Let's see why actually it happens. Let's see. Okay, where is it? See, in the main function I have my n, right, whose value is 10. I create one array whose value is 9, 2, 3, 4, 1 stored at an address. Okay, because this a is gonna point at an address, let's say 100. I'm printing it. Printing is fine. I'm calling the increment function, and I'm calling the increment function. So for increment also, it's gonna be this part. Okay, a new space in the stack is created for increment. Okay, and see, I'm calling it intent. That means whatever value was inside my n, okay, through this it's gonna pass here. Okay, that means inside of this and I have 10. Okay, but see here I'm not passing the value, I'm passing the address. So here the address has been passed. What would have been passed? A is containing 100. Okay, even if you give it B, it's the same thing. Okay, so this is containing address, that means it is pointing to this only. Okay, whatever is in the main. So if I change this with n plus plus and this became 11 through line number 4, and I made a of 0 equal 100. A of 0 equal 100 means basically to go on that address, and at this place it will make from 9 to 100. Making sense what's happening? Here the changes were not reflected because it was working on its end. Here the changes is reflected because it's working on the address, because I have passed the address of my friend's house, and if I go and make some changes in my friend's house, obviously the changes will get reflected, right? Here I have my own house. Someone copied exactly like my house. Yeah, like they designed everything exactly like my house, and they made some changes to their house. Then will it reflect in my house whatever changes they have made in their house? Obviously no, right? But here I'm not they're not copying my, like what to say, my design or whatsoever. They're copying my address only. Okay, they're like, okay, I'll come to your house only and I'll make changes. So they came to my house and then they are trying to make the changes in the case of app. Okay, and again I'm saying, don't get confused that both of them is like their names is A and A. They are different A. Okay, if you want to be sure, even if they are, I'll just delete this again. Even if this is B, okay, and if I write a B of 0, still it refers to the same A of 0. Okay, because this basically will give me the address, and from 0 I'll be at 0 index. Okay, address and 0. What is the address? Same as my address of A, right? So obviously what is kept at A of 0 is basically can be reflected through this. I'll explain again. No, okay, I'll explain again. Okay, first let's get first printed. Okay, it became 100. This part is clear, right? Why n is not changed? Because it made changes in its own n, right? I'll make changes. Let me just explain it again. Main has an array whose name is A. Okay, that means A is pointing to something because A is an address where the values is 9. What is the value? 9, 2, 3, 4, and 1. Okay, this is the main. Okay, I create something called increment. Here what I did was, there is something called n also whose value is 10. I copied 10. That means the design is copied. Okay, whatever value is there, it is copied in this n. But here, as soon as I wrote here increment A, the address, that means if this address was 100, then 100 is copied out here. That means the address is copied out here in the B of increment. Okay, so if I'm accessing A of 0, A of 0 means this part. Okay, what is A? A is 100. So 100, and we can access this value. We have already seen the address are gonna be same thing. A is same equal to address of A of 0, right? We have seen this. So see, B also is equal to your A only. So obviously even if I write here B, then it's the same thing. If A is 700, then obviously B also is 700. So B also equals to address of A of 0. Okay, so since B is containing the address, it also, if you make the changes in your B also, it will get reflected here only. So this became from 9 to 100. Okay, don't worry, we'll see lots of question here. Okay, but right now it's just understand, if you're copying through address, okay, since your array will not give the value, it will give the address, you are coming and making the changes in the exact same array that is being created in your main. Okay, that is created in your main. I hope this makes sense. So as soon as you wrote here B of 0, make it to 100, it was like, okay, you want to make it 100 of your B of 0. B, what does B means? B means this address, what A is pointing to, go to its 0th location, go to its 0th location, and it was 9. Erase this 9, make it 100. Okay, makes sense? That's the reason this 9 became 100. But n value was 10. This is still 10 because it was just copied. As soon as I wrote here n plus plus, it actually reflected this n. But this n, I'm like, okay, I have already 10. Okay, makes sense. So that's why, since this was just 10, it did not get changed. But here it got changed because I used the address to access the value. Okay. Okay, I hope this is clear. Okay. After this, we'll do some questions, like we'll do like real questions. How we can do? We'll see those questions. Okay. So we'll do this question for the next video. Okay. I hope the basics is clear. Right. If in case we need some more things, I'll just clear those things as well. Okay. So see you guys in the next video. Thank you.